Yeah, I'm watching this now. I think I'm watching this now. A little change of pace here. Zoran Mamdani talking to Bernie Sanders. And sometimes I want to say something here. I urge people in chat to send me right-wing videos. Send me a video where the right wing is like, oh, the woke, oh my god. Let's look at it and see if we can debunk it or not and stuff. I'm very open to right-wing videos. Probably like Matt Walsh or something. What is Matt Walsh doing nowadays? The Great Replacement isn't just a conspiracy. So honestly, I'd like to do this. To just see what's his point. Is it counterable? To try to be a bit centrist here. The Great Conspiracy, the Great Replacement is not a conspiracy. Prove this to your liberal friend. Let's take a look. I want to show both sides. Let's do it.
This is replacement theory in a nutshell. It is dangerous and a deeply anti-American worldview.
So we're now watching a right-wing video. I want you to all know that as a disclaimer here. Matt Walsh, obviously ultra right-wing. Let's take a look. Take a look. See what he has. See if we can counter it. See if we cannot counter it. To really not just be in this echo chamber. Let's do it.
It is poisoning minds.
So we hit a major milestone this week, and by we I mean everyone in the whole world.
Oh, Sargon of Akkad is. I didn't watch him in ages. My message to Gary Stevenson. I don't know who's Gary Stevenson. What?
Global population officially crossed the 8 billion mark. So there are now 8 billion.
First thing first, I feel like if someone argues that more and more Muslims and brown people are around, well, it's because they have more sex at the moment. They fuck more. They may make more children average. Because, like, the general white population of Europe and North America has reached a standard of living, etc., where women just don't need 5 children anymore. That's one thing, but let's see what he says.
Billion people on the planet. It took humanity until the 1800s to hit 1 billion, but only 200 more years to multiply that number by 8. This, of course, has led to, as you might expect, lots of frantic and feeble hand-wringing about the mythical threat of overpopulation, quote unquote. There are too many people on the planet, they cry. The whole planet is about to tip over on its axis and we'll all slide off like dishes on an overturned table. Infamously, there was once an elected Democrat who expressed a concern not far from that. Slightly less delusional, though still plenty delusional, is the fear that we will run out of resources or habitable land for people to live on. I mean, none of these scenarios are realistic. There is more than enough land, more than enough resources to feed and house numbers even greater than 8 billion. If the land or resources are misallocated or not properly utilized, or if people...
It would be nice to have like a little footnote of like, here's a study. We can handle 12 billion people. This is all just like... There was once elected Democrat who said that. I'm not going to tell you who.
Choose to huddle together in massive, smelly urban bundles. That's a different problem entirely that cannot be blamed on sheer numbers and also cannot be solved by reducing the numbers. In fact, it's not just that overpopulation is a myth, one invented and propagated by nihilists and eugenicists and Bill Gates, but I repeat myself. It's
okay. Let's just look. I'm just gonna, as a start, this will lead me to sources. What empiric data do we have on if overpopulation on Earth is a problem? Please refer me to like studies or papers, etc. It's always a good start to use a ChatGPT. You can all laugh all you want. We're looking for sources here. Weber et al. In 2018 made a study on the effect of population growth on the environment. A review that finds population growth as positive study of CO2 emissions. Oh man, what is that? I don't want to look at that. Whoa. We have the study of 2025. The Center of Democracy, Development, and Rule of Law, Stanford University, 2025. The environmental impacts of population, a review arguing that demographic pressure contributes to deforestation, biodiversity loss, fishery depletion, soil degradation, water scarcity, and climate change. Khan et al. The impact of natural resources, energy consumption, and population growth on the ecological footprint of CO2 emission. Statistically significant relationship between population growth, resource use, ecological footprint, and CO2 emissions. I would urge chat to look into them and see if they're just bullshit. But my point is, this looks a little bit better than just saying it was Bill Gates.
That overpopulation is a myth, one invented and propagated.
Over 5 studies of universities, which Trump is trying to get rid of, telling there is data showing us that there's a correlation of CO2 emissions and other stuff, population. And on the other hand, we have this.
It's not blamed on sheer numbers and also cannot be solved by reducing the numbers. In fact, it's not just that overpopulation is a myth.
So we have that on one side, and then the other thing on another side, man. What am I supposed to believe then, huh?
One invented and propagated by nihilists and eugenicists and Bill Gates, but I repeat myself. It's that.
Like, I would like to hear more. Like, where's that coming from? What is that based on? Let me know. I want to.
At the actual crisis we face as a globe, as a world, as a planet, the real apocalyptic cataclysm on the horizon is quite the opposite of
This guy's, in fact, not giving any facts. Well, let's keep going.
Our problem is not that there are too many babies being born, but that there are too few being born. The world's population is getting older. The average age of a human on Earth is a decade older now than it was in even the 1970s. Now, sure, that's partly a product of modern medicine, which is good. People are living longer. But it's also a product of an aging population that isn't having enough babies. And when the median age gets high enough, society becomes top-heavy with more elderly people than there are younger people to care for them. This is a problem that developed countries like Japan are already dealing with. Many others will soon join them. The whole world is trending in that direction.
I don't think that's true. The third world doesn't have that problem. I don't think that's true for the third world.
For all the talk about overpopulation, the population is actually projected to start declining by the 2060s as global fertility rates dip below replacement level. Understand this, global populations have never declined due to declining fertility. Okay, we've never seen a decline in the global population because of fertility.
But we also never had this level of how old people now get and all the technology involved, etc.
The last decline was during the Black Plague 700 years ago, and that was from because of a pandemic that wiped out a quarter of human life on the planet. A decline due to people simply not having babies is an entirely different matter, and it's never happened before through the whole history of the human race, and it's not a good sign. Older, slower, top-heavy populations cannot thrive, and after a while, they cannot survive. They can't sustain themselves. Human civilization is right now essentially giving up on itself, throwing in the towel.
The human race is giving up on itself because we don't fuck much anymore. I will think it's much more deep than that, much more complex. That if you have a capitalist country like North America and Europe, you just reach a level where in Germany, 82 million is just like enough. Women, capitalism, etc., women don't need 5 children anymore. You don't need 8 children anymore to live in the mines. You don't need 9 children anymore to work on your farms. You can now get 1 or 2 children through. Also, women now get educated. They don't want to have, some of them don't want to have kids by the time they're 20. It's much more complex than that, and we're just giving up on ourselves.
And this, again, is not a positive development. In the US, we're ahead of the population decline curve. We fell below replacement level fertility a couple of years ago, and actually farther ago than that. And we've been notching record low birth rates every year since, or almost. I mean, birth rates hit another record low in 2020, falling 4% below the previous year. However, in 2021, there was a slight uptick of 1%, which is still 3% below 2019. It was the first increase in the birth rate since 2014, but that was likely only a function of the fact that the year before that was so low. Overall, the U.S. has been below replacement level, actually, for the most part, and there have been, there are peaks and valleys and everything.
I fail to see how that's super bad if you have, how much, 290 million people?
Even with the occasional blip on the radar screen, a spike here and there, we are trending in the wrong direction, and fast. Senator Chuck Schumer, of all people, has noticed this problem, and he made note of it yesterday to reporters when he was giving a press conference. Given that Democrats despise the human species, and especially those members of the species who are residents of their same country, those are the humans that Democrats hate the most.
Why? How does that show itself?
We don't usually hear them lamenting declining birth rates. In fact, they are engineering the decline. So what has awakened Schumer to this issue?
How are they engineering it?
Why does he care about it all of a sudden? Well, that becomes obvious pretty quickly when you hear what he had to say and why. Here it is.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing.
Well, there's a certain president who we learned today put $100,000 buy-in now on the H4 visas, man.
On its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
Evil guy wants to replace you guys. GG.
So there you go. That explains it. The American population is declining. We are short of workers. The senator is concerned, of course, that there won't be enough people available to mow his lawn and clean his pool and dust his fireplace mantles. And his solution is to import a peasant class. To import them rather than attempt to raise them organically the old-fashioned way.
In my opinion, what I see is you can't raise them organically more, like in Germany. I believe that late-stage capitalism is the issue, where if you look at families, you cannot really afford to have children anymore. The middle class, you educated people, right? You still have, like, the people in the trailer park making 5 kids to get government funding. Sure. But if you look at the middle class, if I look around myself, they don't have the time and money to get children anymore. A German child for 18 years costs up to 180,000 euros. You have to invest time. You have to say goodbye to your career, etc., etc. Obviously, if what he's trying to paint is all the immigrants are evil, you're getting replaced, right? I'm not saying we should get evil immigrants that build fucking clans in Berlin and they kill and rape and blah, 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 man. But if you actually walk around, man, and see normal people, they're not trying to fucking cut your head off. And also, I would argue your president, the beloved Donald Trump, is making it even harder economically for the natives to afford children.
He seeks to replace the American population with illegal immigrants.
So we're going from Schumer says we need immigrants if we want to be sustainable to he wants to all replace you. That seems like a sick jump, man. It's a pretty heavy jump, man.
He wants to replace them, replace us.
Never really said that.
To replace them on a very large scale. Replace them on a large scale. Even you might say, you know, a large, another synonym would be great. He wants to replace the declining American population on a great scale.
Never really said that.
Replace, great, replace on a great scale. So it's like a great replacement, you might say. That thing that we're not allowed to notice or mention, that's the thing that Chuck Schumer is explicitly advocating for. And by the way, not for nothing, I should also say 11 million. We keep hearing 11 million. There are 11 million illegals or undocumented immigrants, as they put it. They've been telling us about the 11 million undocumented.
This guy feels like a side character in The Boys. Like he's gonna suck Homelander's dick and then they bash him with the baseball bat, man, like in that scene.
Documented immigrants since I was in high school, okay? That number now is...
Do we have any data on how many undocumented immigrants are in the US right now? Obviously, there will be probably a big dark number. Like a lot of them you can't even like check. The US Department of Homeland Security estimated 11 million in 2022. Okay. Migration Policy Institute estimates 11. The Pew Research estimates 11. More recently, Pew reported 2023, it was 14 million, a record. Like that helps his thing. Up to 14 million.
It's much higher than 11 million. We don't know exactly what it is, but probably closer to 50 million or higher. In any case,
11 million mouths to feed. Do you think all of them don't work? You don't think they actually work? They are legal immigrants that actually have jobs?
Other ways to reverse the trend of population decline. And the most simple strategy, and frankly the most enjoyable, is for us American citizens to get down to...
What did you say, 50 million? Sorry, one more time, sorry. Okay, one more time.
In any case, there are, of course, other ways to reverse the trend of population decline. And the most simple strategy, and frankly the most enjoyable, is for us American citizens to get down to business.
And fuck, yeah, but you have to motivate people to fuck. How is MAGA doing that? How are you motivating people to fuck?
And have babies, lots of babies. I'm not to brag, but I am already pulling more than my fair share of the weight in this arena now that I have 6 kids, and my wife and I have, in our family at least, tripled the replacement rate.
Good for you.
And if you really want to encourage more people to have babies, and if you want those babies to have the greatest chance of success in life, that entails more people getting married and getting married younger.
How does marriage correlate with people fucking?
So we could create a society that encourages marriage and incentivizes people to start families and to have children.
And I will think that doesn't come from the Christian idea. He's a Christian, I think, of marriage. It comes from giving them the economical background to be able to afford to make a family.
But that is not what we have done.
Easy.
Thanks to Chuck Schumer and his ilk, we've gone exactly the opposite direction.
What did Chuck Schumer do? What did he do? Let's listen. But please, what did he do?
To start with, we kill our babies in the womb.
Abortion, okay.
60 million babies have been killed in the past 50 years or so. That means we've erased not just 60 million human beings. I mean, we've erased 60 million to begin with, but actually we've erased hundreds.
That's always easy for the right to say there shouldn't be abortion. Every woman that has a child in their womb should bring that baby out. But the Republicans never even talk about what happens when the baby is out. Will you help this woman that probably has issues, that something is going on, maybe alone, whatever the fuck the reason is, man. It's always about, we need the baby on the world. But then when the baby is out, it's like, what are you going to do? They just cut Medicaid, man. They just cut so much benefits, man. It's never about what happens then.
There's a large portion of those babies, after all, would have grown up and had kids of their own. And soon the kids of those kids would start having kids. Entire family trees have been
Pro-life until the
uprooted
baby is born.
and tossed into the incinerator. The loss of human potential is absolutely staggering. And yet Schumer and his party support, fund, and facilitate all of this, even as he laments or pretends to lament the declining...
Always this narrative. The leader of the Democrats, Schumer, he's doing this. It's him. He's the enemy.
populations. Not only that, but Schumer and his party have attacked the nuclear family. They've encouraged sexual perversion and sexual dysfunction. They have invented a human right to subsidized birth control. I mean, they want to give out birth control in middle schools now. They've created an economy that forces millions of women out of the...
What, you want 16-year-old girls to fuck one time and be pregnant and be moms all of a sudden? Also, I've seen parents my whole life of women and men. To act like gay parents are gonna be so much worse, I don't know, man. Let them suffer like the rest of us.
Now they're even castrating and sterilizing people, including children, in the name of gender ideology. This is all part of a deliberate plan.
The Democrats are castrating children. A guy I met said that the Democrats are castrating children. How could one argue any truth to this statement? Is there any is highly politicized exaggeration of a much more limited and complex issue of gender-affirming medical care for transgender minors? Let's unpack this. When people make claims that like this, they're usually referring to medical treatments for transgender adolescents, under 18-year-olds or under 21-year-olds in America, puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and in rare cases, surgeries. They're not cutting anything, I think. Such surgeries are extremely rare for minors, even after puberty. When they occur, it's usually for older teens, 16 or 17, after years of evaluation by doctors, psychologists, and parents, with informed consent and multidisciplinary oversight. Also, what does this have to do with Schumer? Most gender-affirming care for teens is counseling, family support, sometimes puberty blockers, not surgery.
And that's to say nothing of the drug epidemic killing millions of Americans killing Americans by the thousands every single year, which is doing exactly the same. They are obviously aware that their policies wreaking havoc on the birth rate while eliminating en masse those who have managed to be born. Their policies are wreaking havoc on the birth rate while eliminating en masse those who have managed to be born.
Eliminating in mass those who managed to be born. I think even the biggest Trumper knows that this might be wrong. I mean, I don't have to fact check that. That is utterly wrong. JAMA Pediatrics and a Harvard study between 2018 and 2022 of the US private insurance data shows that among 5.1 million adolescents, which means age 8 to 17, in a private insurance claims database, 926 received puberty blockers over that period, which yields a rate of 0.1% of all adolescents inside the database receiving this. The 0.1 figure is for adolescents in a private insurance claims database. Okay, this excludes youth on Medicaid or public insurance 5 times, which was 0.5 for the not private insured sector, whereas our friend here, again, I'm just trying to be factful here. I'm not trying to be weird.
They are obviously aware that their policies are wreaking havoc on the birth rate while eliminating en masse.
Eliminating en masse, that is just populism. That is the true, with all the respect to Matt, bro. What? I'm not fucking trying to be his friend here. I'm trying. That is populism. Is that the biggest fucking issue you have in the world?
A crisis situation for the country.
Creates a crisis situation for the country. That is just not true.
That this creates...
I'm trying to be right-winger. I'm trying to be a right-winger. I'm trying. I want to be. But it feels like I need to listen. I need to believe in lies.
And here they are at the ready with the solution.
Okay.
Which is to import Democrat voters from the third world. Send in the replacements.
How dare they vote for whatever they want?
I mean, they're right. The great replacement theory is outrageous. It's outrageous to talk about the great replacement theory. And that's because there is no theory here. It's just a fact.
Oh, man.
Right in front of our faces.
So far, am I wrong here, chat? This was all a bunch of nonsense. It was not funded in anything. Provenly objectively. Or am I wrong? What the fuck?
Walsh.
Did I do something wrong? Let me know. What am I not seeing?
When asking Karen Jean-Pierre about the so-called great replacement theory, just listen to the words that are used here. Very, very telling. Listen.
There's polling that shows 1 in 3 Americans believe in some element of replacement theory. You just spoke in very broad brushstrokes there. Are there specifics that this White House...
1 in 3 Americans believe in this.
is willing to do willing to take in order to stop this form of thinking from further seeping out of the fringe and into the mainstream?
So, we're going to continue to call this out. As we have talked about many times, the president at every chance he's had when we've seen a violent attack like this that is, as we say, with hatred and racially motivated, he calls it out and calls it what it is.
What did
What
she
are we
now
going to do
do
to stop this form of thinking?
What did she now do that's wrong?
They're not even trying to hide it.
What did she
How are we
hide?
going to stop? There's somebody in the press asking this, by the way. How are we going to stop people from thinking like this? And thinking like what exactly? I mean, what is the form of thinking? Well, it's this. It's the so-called Great Replacement theory. And one of the clips I want to play for you on this, and then I have.
But again, chat, 180,000 views in one day. People love this shit. No one cares. No one cares about fact checking. It doesn't matter anymore.
Actually, I have some examples, in fact, of the Great Replacement theory that I want to present to you. But first, here's Chuck Schumer on the floor of the Senate yesterday, also railing. And there are so many examples we could pull from because this has been the current thing for the Democrats over the last couple of days is the Great Replacement theory, which they're accusing Republicans of engaging in. And so here's just one example: Chuck Schumer on the floor of the Senate railing about it. Listen.
Okay. This is replacement theory in a nutshell. It is dangerous and a deeply anti-American worldview. It is poisoning minds, people's minds, who spend hours wandering the darkest wastelands of the internet.
Sounds about right.
And let's be clear, it's a message that has also found a special home in several right-wing outlets, and on one,
as we see right here,
cable news channel in particular, Fox News. In a craven quest for viewers and ratings, organizations like Fox News have spent years perfecting the craft of stoking cultural grievance and political resentment.
Stoking grievance and resentment is, of course, all these people do. That is their entire MO. That's their entire political strategy. They have nothing else to offer. They don't do anything but that. It's just stoke, especially racial grievance and resentment, while he accuses everybody else of doing that. Now, what is the theory here? Well, as I pointed out yesterday, this actually is a theory from the Democrats, and their theory is that whiteness, generally speaking, is something that can be and should be mitigated.
What is the source or start of the so-called Great Replacement theory? One that's really important to unpack carefully, because the so-called Great Replacement theory mixes older demographic ideas, nationalistic fears, and conspiracy theory. There's no empirical or documented evidence for any organized replacement plan. What's actually happening is normal demographic change, aging native populations, low fertilities, and then immigrants coming in, which extremists have distorted into conspiracy. Books like The Madison Grant, The Passing of the Great Race of 1916, and The Lothrop Stoddard's The Rising Tide of Color 1920 warned of a race suicide among whites. These texts were influential in Nazi ideology and in U.S. eugenics movement. This could be my content, man. We watch right-wing videos and we just fact-check them. It's kind of fun. Because it's a little bit easy, with all the respect. It's a bit easy.
Is something that can be and should be mitigated. It's a disease. That's the theory on the left, is that whiteness is a disease that needs to be cured.
Who says that? Who said that?
And I mean that in a very...
So far, man, he's only saying stuff, never backing anything up. That's so easy just to be right-wing here, man. It's very easy.
So I'll just give you one example here. A guy by the name of Donald Moss wrote a paper, this was just last year, wrote a paper for the Journal of the American Psychoanalytic Association.
Okay, let's go. I'm super interested. I want him to be right. I honestly do. Donald Moss on having whiteness. Whiteness is a condition one first acquires and then one has. One sec, this is too high educated for me. Okay, let's see what he has to say. But is he a Democrat? Can you guys look at that? Is this guy a Democrat or something, or?
First acquires, and then one has a malignant parasitic-like condition to which white people have a particular susceptibility. The condition is foundational, generating characteristic ways of being in one's body, in one's mind, and in one's world. Parasitic whiteness renders its hosts' appetites voracious, insatiable, and perverse. These deformed appetites particularly target non-white peoples.
I feel like I've been being very objective here, and it's a lot of fucking, it's just all bullshit. It's generally just not true. But people love this. It's massive. It's huge.
We go forward a little bit, and it says, there is not yet a permanent cure. So this is the, again, totally consistent. This is not just some fringe concept. Totally way of thinking is, there's a reason why it was published in the
He's also a psychoanalyst and not a political theorist at the university.
Psychoanalytic journal. It's all over the psychology and psychiatry industry. And he is quite literally saying that whiteness is a parasitic condition for which it is necessary that we find a permanent cure.
Love from Tokyo, Tommy.
I don't think he said
You find this in the media, too. Here's this from, this is Jennifer Rubin at the Washington Post. Somewhat infamous tweet from last year. And she was responding to census data, which showed at the time, and as we've seen this in successive census reports, the number of white people falls for the first time. So she's responding to a headline which says, census data shows widening diversity, number of white people falls for the first time. Jennifer Rubin's response.
Was David? A more diverse, more inclusive society. This is fabulous news. Now we need to now we need to prevent minority right rule.
Diverse, more inclusive society. This
again, she can like say that, but he's acting like this is a systematic thing among all the left and all Democrats. She's a columnist. She's not a politician, and she now represents all the Democrats. She was a conservative, but it was ruined by Trump. A Pat Mohinan Democrat now.
Now we need to prevent minority white.
Jesus, I don't want to sound arrogant, but it's very easy to destroy this entire video. Am I wrong here?
Rule. So
this is real, straight up populist propaganda. Provingly live on stream.
She is responding specifically to a headline that says the number of white people falls for the first time. She says, fabulous news. Now, if for some reason it's not immediately obvious why that's a horrific thing to say, all you have to imagine is if the headline had said, number of black people falls, and then someone had responded and said, fabulous news. If anyone in media responded that way to the hypothetical headline saying that the number of black people falls, that person would be done forever. Like their careers.
And everyone watches this and it's like, nice, beautiful. I mean, the likes are terrible.
There would be 100% agreement among everyone everywhere that is very racist. And it would be.
This is very weak populism. You take something very weak, a columnist tweet, and it's a 2-minute segment for you.
Like, I can't think of a more racist thing than that. And this is what you get on the left.
She was a Republican before Trump.
Example, this is from Hollywood producer Morgan J. Freeman. We have a couple of tweets from him. Not to be confused with, not that Morgan Freeman. He says, and this is just today, or yesterday he tweeted this, being anti-racist starts by admitting whiteness is a disease.
Again, we can all come together and argue about this, that's not a cool tweet, 100%. But this doesn't represent the entire left and all Democrats.
Whiteness is a dominant cultural space with enormous political significance with the purpose to keep others on the margin. So it's a disease, whiteness is a disease.
And what it does is, this is hate farming. What you do is you create an emotional response in these people. They see that without fact-checking, and they're like, oh my God, they hate me. They talk like this? This is insane. Trump has to save me. It creates this error in the head, man.
We got to get rid of it, so on and so forth. Now, so this is the game they play. First of all, again, the theory...
You showed a columnist and a Hollywood producer.
That whiteness is a disease, a problem, and we have to minimize it, mitigate it.
Wow. This was actually very fun. I really have to say. I'm very proud of myself that I took a Matt Walsh video. Because you can actually, if you have an IQ of over 80, genuinely debunk this shit super, super easily.
Replace
it's genuinely not even hard.
That is the theory on the left. If you simply notice what they're saying, and then you point to it and say, hey, did you hear what that person just said? Then all of a sudden, you're the conspiracy theorist. This is the game they play.
Insanity, bro. Wow. Crazy. Holy shit.
To great effect, in fact. They just...
He likes to use the word fact a lot.
Scare people into silence. And they create this environment where they can, of course, say whatever they want.
This fits so much with the new fashion video you watched earlier. But I even get him. He makes money from this. Dude, he's doing great. He's making a great living.
But then they also get to decide, they could just say what they want. And but if in certain circumstances, they might not want you to quote them. They might not want you to notice what they're doing, even when they're explicit about it. And so they
And this notion of I'm using so many facts here, which we just showed, no, you're
get to
not.
decide.
Wow, damn, that was super interesting. That was super interesting. I don't think I want to comment, man. I'm just gonna get shot, dude. Research, something Feedback Gaming could never do, man. Never ever could you do something like that.